Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the Nasdaq market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Tonix recently announced data from 3 oral presentations at the 2022 American Transplant Congress by faculty at the Center for Transplantation Sciences at Massachusetts General Hospital. And with me to explain the significance of this, the CEO, Seth Lederman. Great to see you again, Seth.
Thank you for having me on, Jane.
So let's talk about this. So this data involves studies of the TNX 1500 product candidate for the prevention of organ transplant rejection. So what did the data tell us about that?
It was a very exciting day, and I was glad to be there in person. The faculty from Massachusetts General Hospital, which is a part of Harvard Medical School, are collaborating with us to study TNX 1500 in transplantation. And they got really interesting results in both kidney transplant and heart transplant. And this is a monoclonal antibody, which is one of the biggest categories in the pharmaceutical sector, because monoclonal antibodies are so specific and they have such great therapeutic potential that, except for Pfizer's mRNA vaccine, the biggest products in pharmaceuticals tend to be monoclonal antibodies. What the results showed was the treatment with TNX 1500 prevented the rejection of kidneys or of hearts in monotherapy, meaning that they could be just used alone with only this therapy.
Okay.
So this is a really potential new treatment to prevent organ transplant rejection.
Oh, interesting. And the monoclonal, by the way, I think we've all become familiar with that term. Like we've all gotten a lot more familiar with pharmaceutical terms, I think, over the past couple of years. Okay, so that's major. So this was an initial trial, or what's next for this?
The TNX 1500 interacts with a molecule in the immune system called CD40 ligand. And people have tried to make good monoclonal antibodies against CD40 ligand for many years. It's been known that this is a very promising target, but Tonix was able to engineer this particular antibody so it would have all of the activity that people had hoped for, and it did not have the toxicity that had been seen with earlier versions. So the next step, we've guided that we will be in phase 1 trials in humans before the end of this year.
Okay, interesting. Now you're also doing some work with monkeypox and smallpox, which I understand are kind of similar. This is TNX 801, and you presented some data there at the Canadian Society of Virology. So explain what you're working on there.
Yes, unfortunately, I couldn't be in Canada and Boston at the same time, but other people from the company were there. It's very exciting because monkeypox is now an emergent threat. You may have seen that what started as a few cases outside of Africa has grown to first 300, then 900, and we don't know where it's going. Monkeypox is in the same family of viruses as smallpox. But we've been working on these 2 viruses, on a vaccine for these 2 viruses for many years. And we have already very compelling data showing that our vaccine protects monkeys from a lethal challenge with monkeypox. So we are racing forward to get this in a position for human clinical trials.
Should we be worried about monkeypox? What do you think?
Well, I think 2 things. One is that as frightening as the current outbreaks are outside of Africa, they are from a West African strain of monkeypox And so far, to my knowledge, no one has died. There is a monkeypox strain in Central Africa that has a mortality that could be as high as 10%. Now that could be, it's more lethal in infants and in older people. So, but it has a significant mortality associated with it. So I think that we need to take this current monkeypox outbreak very seriously, but it's a warning sign that we need to be on the lookout for the Central African strain. Because if the Central Africa strain had the same outbreak outside of Africa, it would be devastating. But I don't mean to minimize what's already happened with the West African strain. This is a real threat to public health.
So just something to definitely watch and keep an eye on.
Yes.
Goodness. Okay. So you also recently had a patent issue that provides TNX 801 and other vaccines that use the same technology with patent protection. So explain that. How long would that protection last?
Well, it's always very exciting to get a patent issued in the United States. The United States has a very high bar for issuing patents. And we were very pleased because this technology is the patent behind our monkeypox and smallpox vaccine. And it's also the patent underlying our vaccines for other conditions such as COVID. And we were gratified by this because we really are leaders in synthetic biology. We actually made this virus specifically to serve as a vaccine for smallpox and monkeypox. So on the one hand, the technology we're using is based on the oldest vaccine technology. It's 220 years old, but actually we're using all of the most modern methods in molecular biology and synthetic biology to bring a novel vaccine to market for smallpox and monkeypox.
Okay, and the patent is till what, 2037 or?
I believe it's 2037.
Yeah. Okay, and any final thoughts about Tonix, where you're headed for the rest of 2022?
Well, Tonix is at a very exciting point. We're working some of the most exciting areas and some of the most challenging areas facing humanity today. Obviously, monkeypox is just breaking out all over the world. Originally came from Africa. Smallpox is a threat because of the risk of malicious reintroduction by rogue nations or terrorists. And one of our most exciting programs that's in the clinic now is for fibromyalgia, which is a pain disorder that causes a lot of disability and will soon be in the clinic with a treatment for long COVID, another big problem. So we have a lot going on at Tonix, and I'm very grateful to you for bringing me on the show to discuss it.
No, I appreciate it. It's always interesting to hear, and important work too. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Sunwest Mortgage Company is a family-owned mortgage banker with operations both in the United States as well as the Caribbean, and they focus on mid to low income home loans. So with me is the CEO, Pavan Agarwal, to explain the company and kind of where you go from here. So welcome. And I was surprised to hear you've been around for decades. So give me a little history of Sunwest.
For sure, Jane, and thank you for having me. So Sunwest, my father started the firm in 1980, and we've basically been focused on just delivering quality service and connecting with every single family and caring about every single family. And in that long, steady, continuous process of how we serve our community, we've grown across the country. And now in that process, we have learned to connect both human to human and human to technology. So what we're launching now is something very exciting that we call Empathetic Technology. And I believe we're the first to launch Empathetic Technology, a practical application of it. It's been in the laboratory for years. So we have a first real working ability for a computer to interact with you in a way that you lead and you direct the system, especially on a very personal situation like a home mortgage where you're discussing your finances. We put you in control as opposed to the computer being in control. And
So explain how that works a little bit. So say I want to apply for a mortgage. How is the process different with you and this new technology than it would be in a traditional mortgage application?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the process is you have a conversation with it, and you go at your pace and you tell it what you need, and it responds. It understands your inflections and it responds accordingly. And it's very much like talking to a human loan officer, and you get that same level of service and care, but it's technology driven. And so you're not stuck on rigid forms, and that's particularly important in families that are underserved, in whether your family living with autism or your family with you have some disabilities, or veterans with first-time home buyers. There's a lot more to your story than just a couple of numbers. Right? Credit score, DTI, income, that is simple and easy for the very affluent borrowers, which we serve as well. But we deliver that same high-speed, high-touch service to the full spectrum.
Yeah. And then we've clearly seen interest rates on the rise, in particular over the past couple of weeks. How has that impacted your business?
Well, I think the market has changed significantly over the last 18 months, 12, 18 months. And the rising interest rates, we went from 6 months ago, or even a few months ago, from 6, 7 offers, 10 offers on a property, which we solved that problem with what we have a true approval product. But we went from 6, 7 offers to now 1 or 2 offers, and it's actually, in a way, although payments have gone up a little bit, it's actually in a way helping lower income and middle income families, people with FHA financing, because they're not competing with as many offers anymore.
That makes sense. And does the technology you're using help with fair lending?
Yes, that's a great question. So here's the thing about fair lending. I personally don't believe that you can achieve equality in lending unless you have equality in service. So everyone talks about fair lending, but can you serve that borrower who's had, for good reason, life events? But the key is that borrower loves his house. Okay, can you serve that borrower equally with the equal level of service and attention as the affluent borrower who, nothing wrong with that affluent borrower, right? He's got 20, 30% down and near perfect credit, but can you serve both of them with the same speed and care, right? And that's where our technology bridges the gap. And if you can serve them both equally and with the same level of attention, and you understand, if you as an organization understand that that person loves his house and he's not going to default, right, then that's the person you're supposed to be a loan to.
Okay.
So our one of our underlying philosophies and how we underwrite and how our decision process works is that, would you lend your money to this customer if it was your own money? Right. So everyone in the organization, the way we look at it is this is money in my pocket. Would I lend it to him or her if it was your own money and not, investors' money, or not, government insured money?
Okay. Thank you so much, Pavan, for joining us and telling us about Sunwest.
Thank you, Jay. Cheers.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
PetVivo is advancing animal health through innovation. Specifically, it's medical devices and therapeutics for companion animals. And with me is Mark Middleton, who is the National Sales Director at PetVivo. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great to talk to you. And tell me about your experience in animal health.
Well, I'm definitely older than you. There's no doubt. It goes a long way. I've been in distribution in the beginning of my career for the first 3 decades and got to run a very large company in distribution and learned a lot about that side of the business. Then spent the last 10 years inside of FDA manufacturing, as well as consulting with private equity groups in the merger and acquisition market, opportunities for them inside the animal health space.
Mm-hmm. So what about all of that made you feel well prepared to take on this role at PetVivo?
Well, the first part of my career was dealt with nothing but veterinarians. So I've got to see their side of the business, their side of the medicine side of business, because in the end, they're true medical entrepreneurs. And so how could I help them with the products? But you have to understand the needs and wants and where they're trying to get from a medical outcome standpoint for their patients. And so the veterinary physician has been very, very helpful in my background and training in private practice. And so fully understanding their medical needs, their customer needs, and their patient outcomes, that first 3 decades of my career, that's where I spent it.
Yeah, well, and that's valuable for a company like PetVivo. And let's talk about Spring, which is kind of their star product. I mean, where are you currently marketing it? what are your plans for spring?
The plan for spring with Otcqx technology, it's an interarticular placed product. So it's put in joint space capsules, whether it be equine, whether it be small animal. But the factor where we're currently marketing it inside of the companion animal market and the equine market, it is absolutely the right time, because most everything available out here in the market that's most all the products are non-biologic. We're all naturally derived Otcqx technology, spring, or man-made synthetics. So the uniqueness of this naturally derived product in this current space with the length of duration of activity was very, very appealing. And so it's good for the equine market and very good for the small animal market, from an osteoarthritis situation to lameness issues and indications that can happen.
And what about the core sales team? Who are you overseeing, and what's the strategy with the sales team? Is it geographic, or how is that all designed?
Yeah, well, since we're a new startup, we got all hands on deck, and there's a lot going on. I mean, I'm telling you, but the core management team was one of the appealing things to me when you looked at their background in the medical industry from the human side and their connections there. Yeah, from the CEO down through the CFO, through the COO to the scientist, very, very, very smart people. And we've got a good core group of people now that we're building around in business development. So yeah, when you look at that core group, we have a team of people that understand the financial side, understand the science side, and understand this growth side. Because a lot of times when you're growing a startup, and I've had that a couple of times in my career, patience, persistence, and follow through are the key. And a lot of people in the Wall Street world and may not have a lot of patience because they want to see activity right now.
That's true.
Well, a lot of times that's not the best move.
Yeah.
But yeah, this company is got the right pieces in place now. We've got a few more to add, but for an all naturally derived product, it will help a lot of situations in medical outcomes.
So is that really the thing that most impressed you about spring, was the naturalness of it? And I mean, is that what drew you to PetVivo?
I think, Jane, there's a couple of main reasons that was so intriguing to me about PetVivo. Number one, I like the core group of managers because their backgrounds. But number two, this product, spring with Otcqx technology, is so disruptive, but it's disruptive in a positive way. A lot of companies will say, well, we've got disruptive products, and they'll grow the market. Well, this isn't a knockoff. This is not a generic. This is not a pharmaceutical. It's a naturally derived product made in the US, researched and developed for nearly 20 years in the US market. And it's disruptive in the sense that it's absolutely going to improve medical outcomes for patients that the veterinary physicians are seeing every day. And it's going to grow the market overall for a naturally derived components that have the scientists inside of PetVivo have learned how to put them together and have a long period of duration for joint and lameness issues. It's very exciting. And the fact that it's manufactured in the US, all naturally derived components out of the US. When you just look around the last 2 years of our world and how disruptive our everyday life has been, Jane.
Oh, yeah.
You
Well,
think
that's
about all the sourced products from overseas and the difficulty. Well, this is a US-based company, US-based research, and now being marketed to the veterinary physician to help medical outcomes for patients. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Well, great to hear
Very
about it, Mark. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk more about your role at PetVivo.
Well, I'm very humbled, and thank you very much for your questions. And I'm humbled to be here and excited for the veterinary community to get their hands on this tool, because it's going to help them. It's exciting and it's naturally derived. Thank you, Jane. Have a good morning.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
SKUR is a way to protect your instant messages, your email. They don't data collect, so it's particularly good for businesses that are looking to discuss some confidential information. And with me, the CEO of SKUR, Alain Ghiai, to talk about let's talk about the hacks, because it seems like every day there's something, some places getting hacked, millions gone. What kind of things are you seeing lately, these hacks?
So hi everyone for watching us, and thank you for listening to us. So what happened is, the latest news has been the hack of remote work. There's a big trend on remote work. Even though COVID has abated a lot, now companies have that habit of, people are going to work from home in hybrid mode. So 3 days a week, you're going to be home. I was watching yesterday on Bloomberg, and they said 18 to 24-year-olds, if they can't work from home, they want to change their job. So this kind of work from home is going to stay with us. And the problem is the same problem we had during COVID, where you would call your credit card company and it's an overseas operator in India or the Philippines. They were shut down, and they don't have the infrastructure and the security in their home of highly encrypted communication. Obviously, they're in a small place and they just have basic internet. So hackers had a field day the last 2-3 years. Now they're discovering that half of the population wants to work from home. And the problem is, when you're home and you have a router, first of all, the most popular password is password. And sometimes it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
So you don't have a highly secure internet connection. Then you also mix. For example, you have an email, you use your Outlook, but then you're going to go on your WhatsApp to quickly chat with your coworker. Because if you and I are in an office, Jane, we basically can go to another room, have a conference, and do face-to-face meeting. Now it's all through chat and email. So it's like a paradise for hackers. They intercept everything, they hack, they data mine whatever you have. They go into your phone through these free big tech chat applications that we all use. And then eventually, you know, you get a big hat and it costs the company millions of dollars. You mentioned earlier that it's costing millions. The global economy in 2021 suffered a $6 trillion loss from real money that was stolen and loss of productivity.
Yeah.
The cyber hacking business is massive.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, the work from home trend. Now, do SKUR products, can they help with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how, because what happened is when you use SKUR with your SKUR send button, for example, you basically can send an email to somebody who is not part of SKUR. You go on your webmail. We have an application actually coming mid-June that you don't even have to go on the webmail anymore. And you send to somebody who has Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail, and that person receives a notice. They click on a link, and they can read your message, get as many attachments as you send them, and then they can reply, all of that without having to use SKUR. So it's a great way to protect the sender and the receiver.
Yeah.
You know, our viewers can go on SKUR.com. You can go to the support page. We have a video tutorial, and you just check to see how to use SKUR Send.
Yeah.
And it's a part of our normal email service. Now, when you use chat, we all use these free applications, right? We're not going to name them all. Essentially, what happens is not everybody has SKUR Messenger, right? So what happens is you should be able to chat with somebody securely. So we invented something called chat by invite. So if I have SKUR Messenger and you don't, I can send you a text. You will get a text. You'll click on a link, and then we chat together.
Okay.
So it's a pretty amazing
And it's encrypted
tool.
on both ends.
It's encrypted on both
Okay.
ends. Yeah, basically, you don't need, the recipient doesn't need to download SKUR. But then when you're done with your conversation, you can basically terminate the conversation and nobody can get in.
Okay. Now, one thing I think about is, like, I've got this email system years. Is there a way that I can use SKUR and, like, transport all of those contacts over? Okay, you can do that.
Absolutely. So if you have whatever email you have, you can use SKUR. You can migrate your old email. You can also, obviously now we launch business emails, and you can also migrate your domain name with us. And if you're just creating a new business, you can basically create your domain, which you bought already, and you configure your email with us. It's super easy to do. You don't need to be an IT technical person to migrate your emails. I would still recommend people to have one of these free email service, because you're going to sign up for newsletter, for gym membership, for anything else. And I would use that free email, which is not private at all, for these kind of things. Because what's happening, unfortunately, is marketers sell your emails. Like my SKUR email, I keep it as private as possible.
Okay.
I have another email when I sign up for services.
Got it. So use like that kind of throwaway email for the
That's
extra
it.
stuff, but any business or confidential use.
And also our email comes with 100 gigabyte of storage. It comes with a privacy tool like SKUR Send. It has a bunch of cool tools. The SKUR module lets you know when you send SKUR Send to someone, it'll let you know if they saw it, when they saw it. You can recall an email. We have archiving capability that we're launching as well. So you can be an individual, a small business, or a huge enterprise and still have all the tools that you need. As a matter of fact, in Latin America, we're starting to sell quite a lot of the SKUR Messenger and now the email as well. These are used by government entities and big companies.
Okay, so let's talk about a little business here. I know that you've raised some money. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me about that and the uplisting.
Sure. So we raised, what happened is we have a plan to uplist to Nasdaq. You know, of course, I have to do full disclosure. There's no guarantee we're going to be there, but we have done the process. We had about 5 offers from investment bank. We selected one, and now we started the process. Before that process, we were in the middle of raising money for a few shareholders that missed out on our November raise. So we're going to raise about $500,000. We went to 700,000. The price was 28 cents US with a full warrant at 56 cents for 2 years. And we were happy because we raised more money. We had to stop it at some point because we had a hard deadline of April 19, because from that date onward, we are starting our process for the SEC filing. So the company has about 5.7 million in the bank, US dollars, 7 point something Canadian dollar, no debt. Today, with the money that we have enough cash, enough runway to go to profitability. However, we plan to uplist to Nasdaq to get more funding as well, because we can accelerate the growth. Meanwhile, we've done a pretty good milestone. We just got upgraded to OTCQX. Now, the QX is a very stringent compliance requirement. You need to have operational history, and you need to have minimum assets and cash in the bank. So meeting that requirement really is a testimony to how serious we are and what kind of company we are, even though we're a small cap or micro cap. And we definitely have the right requirements to meet those higher stringent requirements. So we're excited. The QX, OTC has been amazing with us. Of course, being on Nasdaq opens to the entire globe and also bigger funds, etc.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Alain. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Smiles 23 is a company focused on making sure executives have the best physical presentation that they can. And with me is Dr. Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Smiles 23 and also CEO Smiles, which is a project of Smiles 23. So explain what that's all about.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a dentist by trade, but Smile 23 is an exciting project where we're attempting to roll up very high-end dental practices. And in those practices, we're defined by the highest quality of care, leading technology, and customer experience. And we are excited about telling our story through CEO Smiles. And in CEO Smiles, we want to take a deep dive into the smile of a CEO and pick apart what characteristics of that smile actually make it different.
So why is that important?
Why is a smile important?
I mean, we know it's good, but for a CEO, how does that make a difference?
Okay, so why is a smile particularly important for a CEO? CEOs have to be able to demonstrate confidence. And I think out of all facial features, eyes, skin, hair, there's nothing that projects confidence like a smile. Even, you kind of want your CEO, in my opinion, to have a little gray hair, maybe a wrinkle or two, but you definitely want them to be able to project confidence during the pitch and to disarm during negotiations. And I think a smile is the quickest way to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it does show confidence, warmth. People I think can relate to you. They're not intimidated by you if you're, smiling a little bit. So it might be a good thing for negotiations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think people are, and for years have been focused on the Hollywood smile and how can they look like their star, but I think now more than ever, people really want to emulate this CEO that they're a fan of. And I've been privileged over the years to help construct and design some of the smiles for CEOs, CMOs, COOs, founders. And I've been privileged to see kind of how their smile has been part of their journey.
So I'm thinking straight teeth, white teeth. Anything else? Like, is there anything I'm missing?
Missing is the key word.
Okay, so
all of them
what
there.
else? Yeah.
So 80% of adults are missing at least one tooth.
Interesting.
And now there are so many technologies that are coming to the forefront, especially robotic dentistry, which is allowing people to replace missing teeth. So absolutely right. I think people have gotten it right with straight and white through clear aligners and through teeth whitening, but there's so much tech coming in robotics that's really interesting.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. So what can robotics do? How are they changing dentistry?
Well, we have to think about who places a screw better, a robot or a person. I'm personally really excited about where robotics are going to influence dentistry. Robotics are already heavily in medicine and in surgery, and robots can, with the assistance of a doctor, place dental implants. I think a lot of other procedures are going to be coming down the line, and this is amazing because it's going to greatly influence access to care and quality of care.
Yeah, and maybe bring the price down a little bit as well, since there's
100%
to it. So.
Price comes down, quality goes up, and it's just amazing.
So what should someone do if they're considering, what should be the first step that they take if they're an executive and considering improving their smile?
Well, virtual consultations became a real thing over the past 2 years. So now a virtual consultation is part of almost every dentist's workflow. So that's a great place to start. You can talk about your smile, and we all know from Zoom calls that you can actually see someone's teeth pretty well on a Zoom call. There's actually a dental term that came about called Zoom call anxiety, which is actually related to the way a person's appearance, because the Zooms really show facial features really well.
Oh yeah, that lighting, like that can be a killer sometimes on those Zoom calls. And finally, like what's a price range, something like this?
Well, dental implants at present are roughly $5,000 a tooth. A full arch rehab can range from $20,000 to say $100,000 or even $120,000. But I think with the technology that's really, really close, I think the prices of dentistry are really going to come down, and the quality in the mid-market is really going to come up.
It'd be very interesting. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. Rad Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by Rad Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by Rad Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and SWISF privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and SWISF privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Berry, and this is your Secure Privacy and Security segment with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur Private Data. Welcome back, Alain. How are you doing today?
Hi, Anna. Doing great. And hi to our viewers out there.
All right, so I just got a warning from the State Department of Health, basically informing us how to secure our devices for travel and vacation. And we've been doing that on our show for the past few months. So let's talk a little bit about this because it's obviously a big deal. We're all going to be traveling and we're all vulnerable to some type of cybersecurity breach. This one talks about checking your settings, password protection, update your software. Tell us a little bit about some of your tips and how we can protect our data.
Yeah, it's always nice when the government gives you good advice. In this case, it's extremely sound advice. You said Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
Well, they're smart over there. That's the difference, right? It's a state that really understands how things work in life. And obviously in cyber attack, they did their homework. So yeah, so settings, that's interesting that they mentioned that because very few people mention settings. And the thing is that a lot of time when you update a software or you buy a new phone or you update the software on the phone, whether it's an Android or iPhone, you forget that you need to recheck your privacy settings because those are reset sometime to what they call factory level or whatever, or sometimes they don't touch it. When you update, for example, WhatsApp, which unfortunately a lot of people still use, every time there's an update, I know for fact that they reset the privacy rating to their advantage. So you have to go back in, reset your privacy settings and so forth. So what it means is you go to settings on your phone and check all the privacy. One of the things would be when you have a lot of apps, you should basically, a lot of time they ask you for your location settings. And that's a new thing because there was so many complaints that finally they had rules against companies mining your location. I mean, the first one that got in trouble, and that was very public, years ago was Uber. So now they have this thing, and that was a huge thing. They were basically getting people's location and all that for big data. Now what happens is when you have an app, it tells you, do you want to give permission, whether it's location, contact, photos, etc., at all times or while the app is in use. And that's a smart thing because when you use an app, unfortunately, you will need to grant access to your camera. I mean, if you take a photo and you want to store it, or if you share something from your phone that has a photo, you have to give that app permission. You don't have a choice. So I would always recommend privacy settings galore on as much privacy as you can. Obviously, location setting turned off, meaning you don't want to give your location out, except maybe if you're on Uber, obviously the driver needs to know where you are. And then when other application, always only while using the app. I mean, it's a simple thing to understand because it should tell you on my Android, on my Samsung, it tells me while using the app or all time or never. So just do while using the app. So that's one thing. Settings is big.
It also talks about password protect your devices. And I have a funny quote for you I think you might enjoy. It says, passwords are like underwear. Don't let people see it, change it often, and you shouldn't share it with strangers. What do you think about our passwords on our devices?
That's a pretty colorful, amazing quote, which it's funny. It's totally that. It's like, you know, you don't want people to see it. You want to be clean. That means you want to be hack proof, right? And you do want to change them often. So passwords are important. And what I would recommend is at least get a password manager, a password generator, because you're going to create a password that's going to be easy for you to remember, and it will be by association. So if you don't want to get a password generator and you still want to have a complex password, there's an old trick that I learned from a couple of cybersecurity geniuses out there. You can do a sentence. So it could be a sentence, but not a sentence relating to what you do. So if you're a big golfer, don't put a sentence, I like to golf, okay? Or you can put the location of a place or the name of a mountain. Always have a number, an upper letter, so uppercase, lowercase, a number, and an exclamation point or one of these characters, not the super odd characters, because some websites will not accept certain characters, but you know, punctuation characters are okay, and at the very least 8 characters long. I would recommend more than 8. So it could be 2 words into one, and then you mix some numbers. Don't put your date of birth. Don't put anything related to you or your family. Just come up with some random stuff, and then exclamation or interrogation, some kind of punctuation point, and that should do the trick. But it's always good to have a password generator. So that's easy. I would recommend changing passwords, especially for banking or anything that you use a lot. Change them every 90 days. I mean, that's hard to do, but you should change it every 90 days. If you use a lot of those delivery services, a lot of people in cities are used to having DoorDash and other things, not just in cities, obviously, but you know, a small kitchen, you get your stuff delivered, you don't have time to cook. So it's a huge market. They always have the same password and the same email. So at least change your password. Gym memberships, that's another one. But basically e-banking, that's huge. Credit card, you can go on your app now to check all your credit card information. Change them every 90 days. I would recommend. Also, the other thing is Wi-Fi. I think we discussed it before. Do not use Wi-Fi that you're not comfortable with. Like if you go to a public place, use your mobile 5G and don't use Wi-Fi, because when you use Wi-Fi, it basically gives somebody else the option to hack into that Wi-Fi because it's not really that secure, and they'll discover everything that you do, right? So if you're at home, it's one thing. If you're at home, you can maybe use your Wi-Fi, but in a public place like airport, travel, you know, you get these Wi-Fi hotspots all over. Do not use them. Use your 5G connection.
I caught myself the other day when I was traveling in the airport, and I was about to, and I thought, no, Alain says don't do it. I'm not going to take that chance and put my information at risk like that. You know, these are great tips, and there's so many more, and we try to always cover this, but it's like you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And that's exactly what SKUR is doing. It's making people who are more aware of their data and their privacy, and then they can take this tangible action by incorporating your services into their everyday lives. So give us a little overview of what you do.
Sure. What SKUR does is we create secure communication tools. So we have a secure and private email service. for consumers and businesses. You can migrate your domain to us. You can migrate your old Gmail or what you want into SKUR and then just use SKUR, although we do recommend to always have one of those free big tech email for sending your email to these, subscription places, and then keep your @SKUR email private more. We have a messaging application called SKUR Messenger. Very unique feature is that it doesn't require your phone number, so hackers can't get in and discover you every time like on these other applications. You can chat with somebody who doesn't have SKUR by using chat by invite with SMS or email. You can go to sekur.com support and tutorial. We have videos showing how to use chat by invite, because typically if you use a chat service, the other person needs to have the same app. With us, they don't need to, and it explains the whole thing. We also have the same thing with email. You can send SKUR send email. So if you have somebody like a bank, a doctor, a person, anything, any kind of info that you send, tax returns. I mean, the other day somebody was telling me about some kind of financial document because they're refinancing their mortgage. Use SKUR send. The mortgage broker will be able to click, see your information, and use SKUR reply. And that information only transacts in our Swiss server environment and is not all over the net, like all of these big tech cloud, like, Google, Microsoft, AWS are being hacked all the time, that we read all the time about. So that's a very unique feature. We're also launching a VPN. I remember you mentioned, I know on the email, the Department of Health mentioned use a VPN. Our VPN is going to be very particular because it will be only in Switzerland. You'll have multiple IP, because when you use VPNs, most of them are hosted on a big tech platform because they have multiple locations, and it costs a lot of money to have infrastructures in 100 countries. So, and when you change location every time, there's a downside. So you're being vulnerable. You're opening the tunnel by the time you go, let's say, from a New York location to Venezuela or whatever, or Argentina, wherever you switch around, and basically a hacker can get in. So we only have one location, multiple IPs. It's going to be very unique, private, and no matter where you are in the world, it'll just show that Swiss IP address. And we hope to have it by November of this year. It's an amazing tool, and that'll give you the extra privacy. So if you go to e-banking, nobody will be able to get in and hack your system because you'll connect through our VPN. When you use SKUR Mail or Messenger, you don't need a VPN because we have a technology called Helix. But anyway, so this is what we do. Services cost between $5 to $10 a month. The email is only $7 a month. You get 100 gig of storage. And and essentially, because we don't use big tech as a platform to host our services, we have both the privacy advantage that we don't need to comply with the Cloud Act, and we also don't have these big hacks that happen on big tech, and we use our own proprietary technology.
Well, these are great services, and we've been talking for over a year now, and it seems like you are just upgrading. Each time we talk, there's a new service you're providing for these new issues that we're all going to face at some point. So you're just staying ahead of the game and making sure that our data is private and secure. So from me to you, and I'm sure from all of our viewers, we thank you and can't wait to always hear what's next, because you're on top of it, Alain. Thank you as always.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks everyone for watching the SKUR segment.